The South Today Bulletin, proudly brought to you in association with MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Tonight on the South Today, Queenstown's facing a looming water crisis, which may prompt a very expensive fix for the ongoing woes. Two Dunedin volunteers are proving age is no barrier for participation in democracy ahead of the general election. And a former NASA engineer inspires young minds to get creative, proving a toothbrush isn't just for cleaning teeth. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. Boiling drinking water may become the new normal in Queenstown, with gastro cases in the area still on the rise. The town's recent water crisis is still in strife, with the mayor saying it could cost tens of millions of dollars to fix.
Getting the temperature up to get the water down. The Queenstown Lakes District Council issued a boil water notice on Monday evening following increased gastro cases in the area. The infections have been linked to a cryptosporidium outbreak, with Mayor Glenn Lewis saying Queenstown could face months of having to boil water.
What we can do in the meantime is continue to boil water. We are investigating tankers as we speak.
The council plan to install a fast-tracked UV treatment for the 2 Mile treatment plant, with a more permanent protozoa barrier estimated to be a lot more expensive.
For the permanent solution for 2 Mile, we were estimating about $30 million for that investment. That's significant.
The outbreak has affected many in the local community, with supermarkets being cleared out of bottled water and ice. The source of the outbreak is still yet to be confirmed, with a national water regulator stepping in.
The focus is trying to fix this as quickly as possible. So the situation we have is we've now been issued a compliance order from Tamara Arawai.
The National Water Regulator's notice is ordering the council to install a protozoa barrier at 2 Mile Reservoir, bring Kelvin Heights up to compliance, along with a communication plan to be finalised by Thursday afternoon. There have been 21 confirmed cases of infection from the parasite, with many other locals saying they have felt stomach upsets. Lewis has apologised for Queenstown's drinking water crisis, with a time frame for the solution to be finalised next week. In Queenstown, the South Today.
It's been a wild day of weather across the south, with a state of emergency being declared in Gore earlier today. Heavy rain and strong winds have been battering the South Island on Thursday, with 72 millimetres of rain falling on some of the Gore district so far. The Gore-Matoda stormwater networks are overwhelmed with the weather, causing surface flooding, threatening homes and businesses. Gore District Mayor Ben Bell is urging residents to stay indoors and avoid travel, while council staff work to fill sandbags around town. Powerful winds have caused power outages to hundreds of customers across central Otago, including Wanaka, Cromwell, Alexandra and Roxburgh. Meanwhile, high winds are still fanning scrub fires in Canterbury today, with Fire and Emergency NZ working to control blazes in Twizel and Tekapō. Keen workers are putting their hands up to help out for this year's general election as polling day creeps ever nearer. Two Dunedin Electoral Commission employees are showing anyone can get involved, no matter their stage in life.
Encouraging Dunedin residents to vote. 15-year-old Jade Wilson and 77-year-old Brian Bishop may be the ones assisting you on election day. Bishop's been working for the Electoral Commission as a mobile support worker since 1969 and knows what's needed for a smooth election day.
And as a returning officer, the challenge is to make sure that you've trained everybody and they all know their job, and at the end of the day you can send your results off to Wellington.
However, it's the first time Wilson will be taking part in the general election, and while she's not old enough to vote, Wilson understands how important it is to get her peers involved.
Yeah, I think it's good for young people to step up and participate, especially if the voting age will become lower.
Election season is well underway as politicians look to curry votes ahead of the October 14th deadline. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Dunedin's emergency services were called to a Caversham house fire yesterday afternoon, with some hearty locals taking initiative too. Hundreds of clouds of smoke were seen billowing from the roof of a Baker Street house on Wednesday as firefighters worked to extinguish a fire in the wall. Crews attended the scene just before 5 p.m, helping evacuate residents and pets to neighbouring houses. Some locals gathered to try and help dampen the fire, with one woman seen directing water along the wall with her garden hose. The fire was extinguished around half an hour later, with the house handed back to the property owner with only minor damages. A Dunedin primary school is learning how to turn toothbrushes into something quite different. Ravensbourne primary school pupils were recently visited by a former NASA robotics engineer who's given the kids the skills to create a robot from a toothbrush.
This former toothbrush is now a functioning, buzzing robot. Ravensbourne primary school pupils have been trying their hands at robotics, learning how to convert a toothbrush into a motorised insect. The kids are being taught by a former neuroscientist and NASA robotics engineer, who's developing a program to make creating robots more accessible to schools with fewer resources.
We want to get into the little country schools where the kids, might not have any kind of electronic toys at all, right? And so we can give them these things, and we can start teaching them a bit of electronics, and then we can come back a year later and show them how to make a fancier toy.
The pupils have been learning how easy it is to make their electrical toys by taking a normal toothbrush, cutting off its handle, and then attaching a cell phone vibrator motor. It's then topped off with a capacitor to store electricity, and is good to go, all for a low price.
This robot costs about $3, right? So it's that cheap that we can afford to come here with these robots. The kids make their own robot and they can take it home.
Once Dr Paulin has ironed out the bugs of the program, he's looking to roll it out across the South Island schools. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Yakane, still to come on the South Today. Another day, another strike. Some southern house workers line the streets again with a clear demand. And with Alexandra's Blossom Festival ramping up this week, a new senior queen gets her sash and crown.
Risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
That's the sound of prices being slashed in My Mate John's Price Attack! He's cut 20% off rugs and mirrors. There's 30 off bedsides and tall boys, 32 off TV units and lamp tables, and a whopping 45% off king beds. Plus tons more in store now. Price Attack! Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street, and online at mymatejahn.co.nz.
Furniture from Stafford Street and My Mate John.
Aero, used by Australia's top bowlers with their unique Z-scoop grip that redefines the game. Machined with robotics for unparalleled accuracy, Aero, same line, every time.
Here at Age Concern Otago, we offer a range of services to support Otago seniors to age well with dignity and independence. We provide social work support, visiting service, health promotion and social activities. Check out what we have on offer at ageconcernotago.com.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Frustration continues for senior doctors and medical specialists taking to the streets of Dunedin this morning, demanding for better pay.
Invest in our health is the message these doctors are sending to the government, calling for a better solution to the struggling healthcare system. The Association of Salaried Medical Specialists are demanding better pay from Te Whatu Ora, protesting outside the Dunedin hospital on Thursday. The union recently declined a pay increase offer of up to $26,000, saying it failed to keep up with the inflation rate of 6%. It's the third time the ASMS have taken to the streets since their first protest in early September, and many doctors feel they're being ignored by the health agency.
I was part of a negotiating team. I don't know who's behind it. You know, that's what frustrates me. Someone's got a point of view that differs to mine. I'd like to have a conversation about it and find out what the issues are and if we can come to some sort of sensible accommodation, but there's no dialogue from what I can see.
ASMS members are becoming increasingly upset with the stalemate in negotiations. They're looking to hold 2 more nationwide strikes in October. In Dunedin, the South today.
There's an abundance of girl power in Alexandra this week as locals spend an afternoon celebrating women's work in the community. The town's Blossom Festival is ramping up, crowning a new senior queen as part of the festivities.
Ladies and gentlemen, your senior queen for 2023, Jill Checker.
With smiles and cheers, this squadron leader is flying high. Jill Checketts is Alexandra's 2023 Senior Queen, after being crowned as part of the town's Blossom Festival celebrations on Tuesday afternoon. She's the Alexandra 50 Squadron Air Training Corps leader, being involved in training youth from all over central Otago for 24 years.
I was nominated by the parents of the cadets that I run the Air Training Corps, and they wanted me to be representing the cadets, and I wasn't initially that keen, but I'd do anything for the cadets.
The event was organised by the Clyden District's Lion Club, with around 100 people turning up to the prize giving at the Alexandra District Club. Checketts wants to show her cadets what you can experience when you put yourself out there, inspiring them to step out of their comfort zones.
You get so much back from looking after the youth of Central Otago and Queenstown and Wanaka. They're amazing, amazing people, and I have every faith in the future of this community.
The Alexandra Blossom Festival will be bringing the town to life this weekend, with Checketts set to take to the streets for the Contact Grand Procession on Saturday. In Alexandra, the South today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Queenstown's water crisis continues, the Mayor warning it may be a multi-million-dollar fix, so locals continue boiling. Novice and veteran Electoral Commission employees prove anyone can get involved in the upcoming election process this year. And Ravensbourne primary school pupils were taught some engineering skills, creating a small robot from a handy toothbrush. And now we'll look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome editor Paul McIntyre. Hello, Paul.
Hi, evening.
Evening. What can we expect in your paper tomorrow?
Well, the focus, as you'd probably expect, is going to be on the wild weather. We've got the state of emergency in Gore, and we've got WODs, trees down, etc. across central Otago, power cuts. So we'll be following that tonight and getting the latest. And tomorrow,
thank you.
Solar panel solar panel farm is planned for Maniatoto, which is going to power 70,000 homes.
Right.
And as you mentioned in the headlines about Queenstown, people not happy with the Mayor's response. And after 4 years covered in scaffolding, one of our iconic buildings, the Dunedin railway station, has been uncovered.
Oh, lovely. That has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing this evening, Paul, and we look forward to reading.
Thank you.
Time now for a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, rain will clear tomorrow, only to return on Sunday with very cold easterly quarter winds. Heading to the top of the South Island, nor'westerlies and heavy rain with 16 degrees in both Nelson and Greymouth tomorrow, with Christchurch feeling the southerly as it brings rain and a high of 13. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago, fresh southerlies and rain with 8 in Ashburton tomorrow. Timaru is wet and windy with 7 degrees, and Iwamaru has the addition of snow as the southerlies comes through with a high of 6 degrees. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes, and the temperatures just keep dropping. Wanaka and Alexandra are cold tomorrow with just 5 degrees as the southeasterlies come through and bring snow to the mountaintops. To Queenstown, and it's a warmer day with 8 degrees, but the cool winds will still be about. Heading further south, it's becoming fine through here with southeasterlies and highs of 8 degrees in Gore, Balclutha and the Catlins. Now across to Invercargill. Showers are clearing tonight with cool winds and a low of 2 degrees. Tomorrow showery with sunny spots and southeast winds, along with a high of 8 degrees. Saturday looks mostly fine and sunny with easterlies and a high of 12. And finally, heading to Dunedin. We're due rain tonight with gusty cold southwesterlies and a low of 8. Friday's wet first up before a cloudy and windy day with 8 as the high. And into the weekend it's looking cool with another 8-degree day bringing fresh winds, overcast skies and rain through the afternoon. And that's the news this Thursday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. You can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand, and you can also follow us on Facebook. Just search for the South Today NZ to see our favourite stories from around the regions. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite aupōpō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.